Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of what we call Freedom Walkers. Pretty much, and the reason we call them Freedom Walkers because we are walking away from a lot of different issues and problems going on that have happened that we want to speak on. I'm Joe. As you already know, I host in different other shows from Black Male Talk, Black Male Congregation, but I was lucky enough to actually be able to snag this beautiful woman, Michelle Foster. This woman knows the law inside and out. She has a great mind and spirit that I try to pick and prod, and she's been tackling a lot of different topics and situations. So it was only natural that two big dynamic people would actually come together for the first time. God, I gotta fix my hair. God damn it, wardrobe malfunction. Will come together and do the show. So Michelle, this is the first episode, the first take of the Freedom Walkers. I'm probably gonna change that from Walker just to Freedom Walk. Probably should change the Freedom Walk. But anyway, the main thing about it is we've had. I know you brought this episode to me. It's pretty much dealing with law enforcement. Is this something that you definitely? Is this something that just happens once in a while, or this happens more so than it should with the stigmatism of blacks, whites, Hispanics, or just law enforcement in general?
It happens more than it should. That's the problem. It's at an unacceptably high amount. That what you have are a lot of poorly trained law enforcement officers that unfortunately they're not well educated, they're not well trained. Yes, if we paid them more money, maybe we would get better officers. But in some places, officers are making, less than $50,000 a year to risk their lives. So the people that you get on the many police forces, their way of life, in order to see their way to a $40,000 a year job, may not be that educated. So they're quick to fall for the propaganda that's pushed on them by the media. The small little sound bites that black males are more likely to commit a crime. Black males are, at the height of the murder rate. And they don't know how to explain and rationalize those things. I had a discussion with a gentleman today. He said, you can't argue with the fact that the murder rate is quadruple in black communities. That proves how dangerous you are to the rest of us. And it's like, first of all, do you understand what murder rate means? Murder rate means the likelihood of you being murdered, not the likelihood of you murdering someone else. Second of all, in black communities, most black people that are murdered are unfortunately murdered by members of their own race. So this idea that cops or anyone that's not black should fear the black male is highly exaggerated. It's something the media has propelled. Okay. And so the training reflects that.
Michelle, real quick, do you mind the TV in the background? Could you turn it down a little bit so that way we can get the best quality from hearing you? Because you're giving us some great information, and I don't want to cheat the viewers out of good quality information.
Okay, put the stats up while I go deal with the TV.
No problem.
You gotta do it old fashioned. I forgot where I put the remote control.
I'll take care of that. On my end. So pretty much what I'm going to do, because actually she was kind enough to actually bless me with the information that I need. So that way we can give you the best content. And what I'm going to do is actually do y'all solid, and I'm actually going to pull up the information. That's something that we were doing on other channels, and I believe that's what we're going to be doing also here. So let me go ahead and pull that up right now. You want the mentally masked mental?
Oh no, we can get to that one later.
So you want the rate? You want the okay.
The FBI stats. So you can get a legitimate look at, as tragic as it may be, those are from the FBI. this is what the major cities are reporting. This is
Gotcha.
where this is where the media sound bites come from.
Is this it right here? Is this it right here? African American homicide rate nearly quadrupled the national average.
That's the homicide rate, the FBI one. It was the last one I sent you, I think.
The last one that you sent me. All right, let me make sure. Could you go talk about this one before while I'm taking care of the rate one? While I go.
Now, a homicide rate, a murder rate, means your probability of being killed while you're in that particular age demographic. You know, the demographics look at you in your teenage years. It looks at you in your young adult years. It looks at you in your early 20s, up to age 34 or 35. So basically, between the ages of 12 to 35, African American males are more likely than any other males of any other demographic in the United States to actually be murdered.
Mm-hmm. Let me make sure
So
I zoom in on that.
that's a tragedy that we need to address. But
Okay.
part of the misconception is that Black people are killing each other over money. And you and I both know there's not that much money in the hood to be killing yourself over.
Yeah, I find it very interesting. The most impoverished area is the area where people killing most for money. Right.
You know, people have forgotten that we're not so different. Human beings are not so different. You know, there used to be an expression that if you don't have respect, what else do you have? And I had to explain once to my roommate what diss means. It means if you diss someone, you've taken away from their respect. That's one of the lowest things that you can do to any man, is to take away his feeling of respect, that you don't respect him. There are a variety of ways that you can disrespect a person. But if you are poor, respect is one of the few things that you may actually claim to own for yourself. And when someone tries to take, go ahead.
No, I just find that because I'm reading murders in America have increased recently. This has been horrifyingly obvious for the tragic nightly news stories coming from Chicago, a city whose homicide rate has skyrocketed in the last few years. The homicide rate in Chicago is a legitimate hockey. The homicide rate in Chicago, though extremely alarming, is not the nation's worst for a large city. That dubious distinction goes to St. Louis. Other cities with higher homicide rates than Chicago include Memphis, Baltimore, New Orleans, Detroit, Cleveland, and Birmingham. Wow, most of those cities are in the South.
Yes.
Most of those are in the South. Those are not, and those are like highly racially concentrated areas. So that's very interesting because people always make it seem like they'll always bring up Chicago as murder capital for blacks, but it's actually not. They actually have St. Louis, which is you have the boroughs, and those guys down there, they don't care. You will die faster for disrespecting somebody in those areas than anywhere else. And we all should already know that to a black person, respect is a very sacred thing. More than anything, that's something that you will possibly die over. I can pull up the actually let me pull up the FBI. Let me pull up the FBI rates right here. There we go. I got it in my messenger. There we go. Told you we like to pull up the facts for you guys. Crime in the United States of 2013, as you already know, but some people say, well, why isn't it this year? These things take time to actually make, you guys. You got to actually start getting the population. Sad to say, 2018, with all the illegals and all the crazy stuff walking through the border, it's hard to tell who's in the U.S. nowadays. So you get the best facts, and this is a crime in the United States of 2013. This is the rates from the table 43A. Michelle, take over. Here you go.
Okay, I'm pulling it up myself. Give me 1 second. What basically I'm trying to say is if you look at overall crimes, African Americans are not leading in overall crimes.
No, we're not. Holy
Number.
crap. We're not leading.
No, we're not.
We're really not leading. I really want y'all home. Let me get up on this. I thought, whoa, hold up. Total arrests, race. There are 9 million total arrests. The leading is whites with 6,214,197,000. 214,197. Blacks come in second to 2,549,655. In American Indian, you got 140,000. Asian 105, and Native Hawaiian Pacific Island. Well, there's not really a lot of them, so we can understand why they're in the thousands. Now, we will honestly want to go down to, if we go down to, I guess, murder, we take that. We take it when it comes to murder. We got 4,000.
Yes,
second would come whites. I guess that's when they come in with the murder per capita. Y'all know how they always throw that out. Well, blacks, y'all leading in murder per capita, but they never talk about the other crimes, the rapes and the theft and all the else. They never bring up. They just bring up murder.
And you honestly look at certain things like look at the number of rapes. Look at the number of rapes.
I ain't gonna lie, y'all. They doing those numbers pretty good, and I'm not trying to just say, hey, yeah, y'all doing those numbers pretty good. Rape, well,
rape.
We do that for many years.
13,000 reported rapes. Of those, 8,946.
Half of that just by white people. God damn, boy, we all be busy.
And think about the number that actually avoided any type of jail time because of the rape.
Okay.
Because they didn't want the rape to ruin their lives.
Okay. When it comes to robbery, blacks have that with 44,271.
Right, they have that, but they don't have larceny and theft.
Huh. Somehow we missed that one.
677,000 to 284,000.
In larceny and theft. Ain't that? Wait, God damn! White people, what do y'all be doing for free time?
Wait a minute. Why are the brothers always being pulled over for the stolen cars when out of the 52,000 car thefts, 34,864 were Caucasian? African Americans only stole 15,960.
Yeah, we can look now. I know some of y'all like to say the Latinos, or now, mind you, they're including, but you don't see the Latinos. So I want you to understand, the Latinos are being thrown into the black category. I just want you to understand that. Y'all do know that, right? The Latinos are thrown into our category. So I'm not sure if any of y'all caught that. You see white, black, or African American, American Indian, okay? They got American Indian, Alaskan Native, Asian, and Native Hawaiian or Pacific Islander. You do not see no
you gotta go all the way. You got to go all the way over.
Hang on. I gotta go all the way over just to go find the Latinos.
Yes.
Damn.
All the way over, and you'll see the numbers are like not Hispanic or Latino.
That's how they can generalize them. Oh man, Latino. Hey, I know we're blowing up about the Latino, the legal immigrant, but
I mean, I don't understand their columns, but hey.
They don't really do that. I'm not saying it's good, but they're not really doing. Sometimes sometimes people make a big stink on things, and I'm just that's not saying that here on the Freedom Walkers that we're like, oh yeah, we want illegals in here. No, we ain't saying that damn stuff. But I know sometimes we like to overhype stuff because I don't. It's amazing. First of all, if people are calling the police on people's children who are selling lemonade and cutting grass, you think you can just walk into a doggone neighborhood where you don't belong and just go steal a car? You know, everybody's gonna be watching you.
But Josh, Notice this one little thing in statistics. This is what I said. Throwing out statistics can be misleading. I want you to look where it says total arrest ethnicity.
Where can I
Look
find
at
that at?
this.
Okay, total arrest ethnicity. Yeah, I see that. I see that.
You see total arrest. I think I'm on the murder column. First column is murder, right?
Total arrest ethnicity. That's I'm on the darker part. You want me to go back to the light part?
No. Just go across.
Okay.
The first column under the totals is murder, manslaughter. Then when you slide all the way over, remember that number that we saw before was 8,000?
Yeah.
Now when you get, and the number for African Americans was approximately 4,379, and the number for whites was 3,799. Remember, 3,799, 4,379 for murders.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I'm going to go over to where we get to Hispanics, and it's like, wait a minute. You said the total is 4,850. What total are you talking about? And it says out of that total, 1,052 are Hispanic.
I think they're
Not
adding this
Hispanic.
together. I think they're just adding this together. I really believe they're adding this
That's
together.
what I'm saying. Look, not Hispanic, 37. I think if you add the 3,700 to the 1,000, you'll get close to that 42 number.
I mean, and she, right there, if y'all look at it, guys, I do apologize. For black, it's 43.79. You go over to the Latinos, okay, and they got 48. Okay. They're pretty much, honestly, I think, Michelle, you on something. I think
if you add
adding us
1,052 to 3,798, you're right there at that 4,700 number we just saw.
Son of a bitch, y'all been adding us together. Huh? Y'all been adding us together.
Proof right there.
Y'all, there y'all go. There y'all go. We just did math for y'all. Don't ask us to do it again. If y'all want to, rewind the tape. But y'all just now see for yourself, they're just adding us together.
Now do you see why we're 50% of the overall murders? If you start adding in all the minorities, and you say we're going to add in all the minorities to all the white, so we're going to say black and other minorities are 50% of all murders, are all convicted murderers. You go, wow. Subconsciously, you only hear that black people account for 50% of all murders. Did you notice? But when we actually sit down and do the math, we see that little marketing strategy, that little propaganda is incorrect. It's inaccurate.
They like to sell those kind of things. Plus, also, when you look at burglary, arson, we don't be burning stuff. Black people don't be burning stuff. Y'all, God dang. Y'all do 6,000. Listen, y'all. I know some people are gonna be triggered like, well, y'all make it feel like this is white people doing that. Listen, we're not telling y'all to do this. Nobody's telling y'all to do this. This is from the FBI. You know the same thing when y'all bring up the murder per capita about black people. This is what they see about y'all. The same thing when they pull up the same murder per capita that you say on black people, right there, right? You like to look at that one word of murder, but you don't bring up about the aggravated assault. You don't bring up the burglary. You don't bring up the larceny and theft. You don't bring up the motor vehicles. You don't bring up the violent crime. Ooh, god damn. Violent crime. Y'all need to, no wonder why y'all be doing so much crazy shit. 228,000. Property crime. Nobody, no. You know what? You know what's so funny? They always say black people riot and burn down cities and tear up shit. Don't they always say that in the show?
Yes.
But when we look at the statistics,
stereotypes out there, they're promulgated by these type of false stats.
But when you look at the statistics, y'all 855, you're almost at 1 million. You can't say that. Y'all can't talk about, oh, we destroying our ghettos. Y'all destroy more shit than we do. Nobody is close. Other assaults, forgery, and counterfeiting. Well, we already knew y'all wouldn't get that shit. Fraud, embezzlement. Well, goddamn boy, how did y'all get people to sign peace treaties with y'all? Just saying. Stolen property, buying, receiving, possessing. Okay. Vandalism. Weapon carrying, possessing. Well, we already know y'all wouldn't get that shit. Prostitution and commercialized vice. Whoa, but hold up. Because everybody always says that we're always out there with our rap videos out there overachieving. But 22,666, oh, that's a double number. That's done by not us. Sex offenses except rape and prostitution. Drug abuse. Oh, wait. Then y'all say the black community has nothing but drugs. But guess what? Last time I checked, y'all eating the opioids and drugs and stuff. It's 815,000. Gambling. Okay, so we got that. Gambling. I don't know how. Oh, yeah, lotto. Of course, the goddamn education lottery. I should have known it. Son of a bitch. We did take the education lottery.
Slot machines.
Stop playing education lottery. Stop playing education lottery.
You know, on one hand, they encourage people that cannot afford it, both Black people and Caucasians, white people. I mean, they push the lottery in lower income neighborhoods, but at the same time, they tell them not to gamble.
That is so true. I see that at every corner store, every tobacco outlet, every bodega, every little rickety town.
Yep.
That somehow always managed to be is a gambling of a lotto tickets, scratch off. Yes, and I know some of y'all think on Sunday that, hey, let me go buy me a lotto. That's gambling. So to let you know you're sinning. Buying a lotto ticket before church and after church, you're gambling.
Yes.
Just trying to clarify that for y'all. Driving under the influence. Oh my God. I'm not surprised that y'all.
The problem is that we allow ourselves to be manipulated by the media. Newsflash. Okay. Murdoch and Turner are two old billionaires that have their own personal gripes between each other. Fox News is owned by Murdoch. CNN, MSNBC, they're owned by Turner. They got into a fist fight because their yachts bumped into each other. But yet and still, they have Americans fighting with each other over whether or not you heard something on CNN or MSNBC versus Fox. I don't need those kind of fights in my life. I'm not going to be deceived. I'm going to go directly to the source.
But somehow the rate per capita when it comes to crimes this is what they like to bring up, the murder. They bring up the murder. But everybody else is below the bar.
Right.
Somehow I want y'all to understand that. Look at the narrative that they're playing. Blacks.
The narrative, the reason you had the cop that's like, oh, he's trying to, okay, Freudian slip. Maybe he stutters. I don't know. Speech impediment. Bad. Black. I heard the word black, bad guy. Black, bad guy. He was not going. He may have misspoke when he said, okay, I'm thinking black guy. And I meant to say bad guy. But at the end of the day, his mindset is black equals bad guy.
We're gonna play y'all.
The justification is look at the stats.
We're gonna play y'all. We're gonna play this for you guys. Mind you, this is a recording for a K-9 unit at a kid's school where they're telling this to children. They're telling us to children, these are the K-9 units that go get the bad guys. So they're not at no rally. They're talking to children. You know, you see all those nice little boys and girls, little Kiki right there with the cute braids, little Tommy, little Sarah. You know, you could tell the balding principal right there, you know, with the midlife crisis. So I want you to know this is Prince George County, okay? And what we're going to do, we're going to play the recording. We're going to play the recording of it. So that way y'all can decide what y'all see about this. Now, we're not going to tell y'all what to say. This is, we showed you the stats. Now we're going to play the video. All right? So let's begin this video for y'all.
Steve and some of you, my volunteers this morning, I'll show you how good a dog.
They're pausing it because they want to actually so you can see this.
And he knows from his training that he's sit down when he finds something when the handler tells him to actually give an odor on it. So, for instance, if a bad guy is running and he drops a cell phone or he drops this piece of leather and they have evidence or DNA on it.
Black bad guy drops a cell phone.
Now, what Manuel's going to do is, when I get those items back from you, he's going to smell your human odor on those things. And he knows from his training that he sit down when he finds something when the handler tells him to actually give an odor on it. So, for instance, if a bad guy is running and he drops a cell phone, or he drops this piece of leather and they have evidence or DNA on it, or he fired a gun and they have that shell there. Steve, and some of you.
And then they took the video down.
Okay, so y'all, I want y'all to understand this so that way, because this video, yeah, the guy who recorded this, I want you to know, shout out to the brother who recorded this. This video is gone. It's not there, but too bad. But once it hits the internet, it's free game. So this officer did say that. Mind you, there was a shooting about I think in California with a black guy who dropped a cell phone and he flee. And yeah, he got shot. And then there was another one with another guy. They thought he had a gun, but it was actually his wallet. And then there was another time when a guy had a gun and he got shot.
No.
Well,
let's go about the subliminal messages. Let's talk about the murder trial. The murder trial in St. Louis, where a judge actually is on record of saying the officer was the one that was on trial for murder. The officer claimed that he shot and killed the suspect because he thought he had a gun. The gun was later found inside the bottom of a backpack. When they first look at the seat, there is no gun. This is the back seat of the car. The guy was sitting in the front seat. So I want you to understand, the judge said it was hard for him to believe that a known gangbanger did not have a gun. This is a judge, a highly educated man who said it was hard for him to believe. He would not believe his eyes. They showed video after video of the car. There was no gun within the guy's reach. They looked at where the backpack was. They raised the backpack up. There was no gun. They went inside the backpack. They found a gun in the backpack. But for an officer to say, I feared for my life because the guy had a gun in the bottom of his backpack, is one thing. But for a judge to say, I just can't imagine a gang banger who did not have a weapon on him. So I'm going to find this police officer not guilty of murder, because the judge co-signed on that bias. It's like, I believe that the police officer thought that since this was a gangbanger, what's a gangbanger, Your Honor? What's the legal definition of gangbanger? Think about that. He had the audacity to say gang banger. This man had never been convicted of banging. What's a gang banger? Someone that kills other gang members? Is that what you're trying to imply?
That's pretty much, it's a hitter. As so, for some of y'all who don't understand, gang bangers. First of all, there's gang members. Gang bangers are people affiliated with a gang who actually knock off or take out other gang members of other associations. If you were to see a bicycle group, you just call them a gang. Well, they just call them an organized chapter, as they call them. But then when you kill another person, part of another gang, you're actually a gang banger. That means you're actually a cop banger. You know, or you can be called a banger. Banger means to kill. So the judge already generalized him as a murderer. Yeah, I mean, y'all like the terminology. I mean, it is what it is. But for the cop, I'm just saying he was talking about a drop cell phone, drop wallet, drop gun. I'll just say, y'all, nobody told this cop to say this. Nobody told this cop to say this. And if you're not bothered by what this cop just told a bunch of kids, like it wasn't like he was stuttering, but he wasn't stuttering. It just wanted to make sure you all heard. Like little Timo was trying to figure out, you know, he's just having a good time. Understand this, like the biases against a lot of people have been played out. I know, like little Kiki right there in the green, she's like, ain't this some bullshit? Like, did anybody else hear this, or is it just me? Like, I'm just saying, because it's just, I mean, the narrative for y'all can't say, you don't even have to be a black person to be upset about this. All people should be upset because this is why, like, again, low funding and low training for a lot of these people. Guess what they're going off of? Social media and biases. They're going off of biases. And we too quickly easily agree with this type of narrative.
You know, one day I posted that white people did not understand what prejudice was. And they immediately went on the attack. And they said, Nichelle, what do you mean white people don't know what prejudice means? We're Irish. We're Irish. We're Jewish. We know what prejudice means. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, prejudice just means that before you meet a person, their reputation precedes them based on your own bias. Bias can be good or bad. Ted Bundy walked into a room. Why? Why would you say bias is good? People were prejudiced to believe that this clean-cut white guy posed them no threat. Their prejudice led to their death. You have natural biases and prejudices. If you are walking late at night and you hear a howl, your assumption is, danger. I'm here alone. I can't see what it is. It could be a dog or it could be a wolf. I'm going to err on the side of caution and get off these streets. Same way, if I, as a black woman, yes, I am female. If I'm walking down the street and I see a guy in leather with a beard, I am more likely to run if he's white than I am if he is black. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, the Caucasian woman may have not read the stats correctly. She may see the cute white guy and say, oh, no danger. That's why there's so many missing white girls, because of prejudice. You see the black guy, you get scared. Stats do not show that he's more likely to rape or kill you. It is the clean-cut white guy or the white guy, period. Right. You might run from the white guy, the ugly white guy with the beard. But your prejudice, when you first impressions are key. That's why people say that. When you walk into the room, before you open your mouth, people are looking at you. They're judging you. They're looking at your clothes. They're looking at your hair. They're looking at your mannerism, your body language. You know, these are things that Americans know, but when it comes to race, we suddenly want to put our heads in the sand and say we don't see color. My gosh, I would be offended if I walked into a room and someone said, I just saw a red dress. I didn't see your color. I went through great pains to do my hair and my makeup. I want you to see my beautiful black skin, just like you would see my daughter's green eyes.
Yes.
Okay, I accentuate my hair. I'm very proud to have the type of hair that I have. It can be curly, it can be wavy, it can be straight, whatever. I can have fun with my hair. So please, when you see a person of color, I'm going to say it like this. When you see a woman in general, oh, I didn't notice she was a blonde. Really? You're really going to tell me that? Oh, I didn't know she had red hair. But you're going to tell me, oh, I didn't notice you had black skin. Seriously? Let's stop putting our heads in the sand and just believing this media created narrative about people. We're people. My skin color is very much like your Caucasian hair color. You have blondes, brunettes, redheads, mousiness. We have different shades of brown within the Black community. And we're very proud of our skin color, and we cannot control our skin color. We're born, we're blessed with it, we love it. But it gets ridiculous to think that people will say, well, I don't judge person by their skin color because I don't even see skin color. Really? But you see hair color, right? You see eye color, right? Why are you only colorblind when it comes to my skin? Have you ever gotten an answer on that one, Joe?
I've never get that answer. I've never get that answer. And I ask that all the goddamn time, you know, and I never, oh, why are you thinking about color? But I'm like, wait, hold up. Y'all always
I'm
do this.
very unusual. I have 3 daughters. The oldest are twins. And when they were born, literally I walked and I went into the neonatal unit to see my twins. They were born premature. They directed me toward the twins that looked alike, 2 Hispanic twins. And I'm looking at my bracelet going, no, those are not my kids. Because my oldest daughter, they thought she was Caucasian. She had blue eyes, bright blue eyes, blonde hair, very fair skin. Her sister, on the other hand, had naturally curly black hair. Her eyes were changing to dark brown, but they could not reconcile in their minds that these 2 kids, and then the justification was, oh, is your husband Caucasian? No, my husband is black.
Well, that kind of threw them for a loop. They're like, you're full of shit. So you definitely need
people have felt empowered to walk up to me and my children, either together or separately, and say, do you have the same father? Would they walk up to 2 children that, if one had blonde hair and one had brown hair, and said, do you 2 have the same father?
Don't worry, I get that with my babies all the time. They ask me, you got more than one child. So who's the mom? To all your kids. Why do I have to have more than one doggone? I guess. Oh, I get it. Oh, I get it. I'm black, so that's why you said that. Okay, that's pretty fucked up.
Okay, but no, we don't realize that prejudice and racism are not the same thing. If I sat up there and said that I was going down to Mexico and I went to Mexico and I expected to get a taco, you wouldn't consider that racist. If I went to France and wanted escargot, you would not consider that to be racist. There are certain things that are associated with different ethnicities. We are ethnicity within the United States. My race is global. When I go to Ethiopian parties, I'm sorry, the food is different. There's an ethnic barrier there. When I go to Nigerian parties, there's an ethnic barrier. I love some red stew, but I don't cook it in my house. That's not something I do. So these are kind of conversations that we need to have in America before we start bringing in a lot of immigrants, because we don't really understand our own culture in the United States. If I said I've adopted the Texas culture, people would understand that. I like barbecue. Versus California, I do not like the California roll. The sushi, the raw fish with avocado, I can pass on that. but we can recognize that certain states or regions have their own particular culture that they developed over time. But it's so hard for people to understand that after 100 years of segregation, African Americans are basically immigrating into the United States. We are immigrants, that we were separate. We were separate. My grandparents were raised in a separate United States than your grandparents. I'm not going to abandon my history just so that I can be equal to you. Because in the words of my great-grandfather, United States Congressman John R. Lynch, I'm not trying to stoop to some of your levels. Okay? It's that simple. I don't have an issue with slavery. It happened. Those that could get out, they did. Others found my other grandfather, John Wesley. He was actually an Indian who was left at a plantation. He doesn't remember who his father was, but maybe he was part black. Who knows? But he did live the rest of his life as a Negro. But in his diaries, he left this one thing to remind us of. He said, yes, it is true that they treat the Negro like cattle to be bought and sold, but they treated the Indians like vermin to be exterminated. So, yeah, I grew up with the idea that you couldn't walk around and use your grandparents' status. Heck, John Wesley and John Lynch were both slaves as young men. John Wesley became a wealthy landowner once Emancipation Proclamation was passed. John Lynch, on the other hand, decided, bump this. I'm not going to wait for the Emancipation Proclamation. He ran away, joined the Union Army, thought they won. He went back to law school and became a United States Congressman. So he went to University of Chicago before there was such a thing as affirmative action. So I'm always offended when people go, wow, I wish I was black so I could have gone to Duke University. No, what you should say is, I wish I had a high SAT score like you did. That's what you should have said. But you are assuming, and we're allowing this media narrative to go on. And the only one we're fighting is about the criminals in our society. But there's also this stigma when you're an educated African American that somehow or another you took a spot from a more qualified person. And if you think about it, from Michelle Obama, Barack Obama, even Ted Cruz, Harvard Law School, but somehow or another they're not considered Harvard Law School. There's always some slight little tweak about their academia, their scholarly abilities. Whereas George Baby Bush got in as a legacy and partied his way through. And yes, there's a little joke about that, but not nearly as much as you would expect when you look at people like John Kerry, who was a legacy and flunked out. But John Kerry doesn't get as much criticism as, say, a Barack Obama or Michelle Obama.
Well, I mean, because one of the things that we want to look at before, and we want to get this, make sure we hit this out. As we already know, one of the biggest issues that we got going on, and I think that we don't check it, and actually, we just had a mass shooting again just last week. Literally, just had a mass shooting just last week. No, it wasn't done. I know it hit close to me, but I'm a nerd and I'm a huge gamer, and I'm into these, and I do this very often. But this happened at a competition, and right. It was done maliciously by a male, Caucasian. Sorry, because y'all have no problem.
Apologize. Let's just throw this stat out there.
All right, let's just throw. Yeah, you're right. I forgot.
Yeah, this is frank talk. You know, It's not meant to offend anybody. It's just to be honest.
It's just, you're right. You're right. I do. I apologize.
One of my commentators made a very accurate observation. This is the way America looked at it. I posted a meme. I said, if the shooter had been Hispanic, it would have been build a wall. If the shooter had been Islamic, it would have been travel ban enforcement. If the shooter had been African American, it would have been, okay, more Black Lives Matter terrorists. But because the shooter was Caucasian, the first thing was, oh my gosh, he must be mentally ill. And I asked a woman, why do you think that? She said, well, the stats support me thinking that if it's a Black person, they're part of a gang. And if it's a white person, no normal person would do mass shootings. I asked her, I said, do you think a normal person would do a drive-by?
And you know the thing about it, and I want to show y'all this. I'm gonna show y'all this. Okay, let's look at every shooter. Let's go do Colorado. Well, Colorado. I'm gonna make sure I do my glasses, my Colorado. Theater shooting. Okay.
You have to look at the shooters. The media's first reaction was, this is not normal white guy behavior. This is not normal white guy behavior.
Now look at this. Look at it. Look at it. Say, look inside the broken mind.
Yes.
Now, mind you, we don't make this up, y'all.
We're not making this up.
They said he was crazy. He was not there.
If it is a Black man that does the killing, look at Dallas. It was not, oh, he is a troubled Vietnam vet. He's suffering from PTSD. It was, he's part of Black Lives Matter. Really? We don't know him. Really don't know him. But that was the media narrative that went out. It was, he was a Black Lives Matter terrorist scum. And everyone else is going, even his neighbors, some of his neighbors happen to be Caucasian.
Let's look at, hold on. Let's look at this. 5 Dallas officers were killed as a payback. Police chief says, let's see. God damn it. So it looks just more like he just was just off of bloodshed. He wasn't mentally ill. Of course, as a Black person, the
guy who lived off in the country that was always shooting at stuff, talking to himself, he wasn't mentally ill. Really?
I always wonder, this is the thing that always gets me. Whenever a Black person does some shootings, we get told that motherfucker just fucked up.
But that's normal.
But that's normal. That's normal. Excuse me. That's normal for when we do it. This guy right here, they call he just killed people. But I want to go hit on somebody else. But I know some of y'all gonna say, you're not, Joe. You're painting a narrative. Okay, let's go try school shooter. Okay, let's go try school shooter. Okay, but it seemed like all of these dudes. Let's see. Let's do Florida. I want to do Florida, but we want to go to recent people. I know some of y'all gonna be like, oh, maybe you try. No, these are all recent.
No, look at the guy in Tennessee. When his parents were going through a divorce, when he was a teenager, this man is 24 years old now. When his parents were going through a divorce. His mother.
He's mentally unfit. Mentally unfit. My bad.
Part of the custody battle. She brought in all kinds of, my son is suffering from psychological abuse.
Waffle House suspect, the guy who killed 4 people in Waffle House, 4 people, guess what he is? He is
not mentally insane. He's not fit to stand trial.
Like I said, kill all these people.
The test is, do you have a mental disease that prevents you from knowing right from wrong? This guy knew how to load a gun. That was the right way. He knew the right way to load a gun. He knew the right way to walk out of the house and find not one, but 4 people. He knew the right way to run away to keep from being caught. This guy had the mens rea, the mental capacity to appreciate that his actions were wrong. They were not something I've heard people say, oh, well, the guy in the Aurora shooting thought he was Batman or Superman, or he thought he was saving the galaxy. Come on now. Anyone who has been around someone who actually is suffering from mental illness knows that these people do not have these elaborate hallucinations. That's not part of their psyche.
It always blows my mind that these guys always have some mental fucking problem going on.
They'll go back and say when he was 2 years old.
2 years old, he got a spanking, and I guess he needed to avenge that ass whooping. His father, his mother, they got a divorce. It's always like somehow. I'm sorry, man. Every time a white kid shoots up some shit, they always are mentally fucked up. Black kid shoots up a goddamn dude, shoots a dude, terrorist. We knew that dude was going. I'm just saying, y'all can't get mad at us because y'all. I mean, goddamn it. It is what it is. Like, honestly,
like this. Notice what I'm saying, Josh. It's the media. The media is training people to believe this. Not only white people, but they're training Black children to believe this as well. I mean, it is propaganda. Life is imitating art. That is the sad part. That when you have African American kids that think it's cute to pose with guns on social media.
Mind you, look at this. The kid refused mental health. They were trying to get him mental health. Let's look at this. What the Florida school shooting reveals about the gaps in our mental health system.
No, what the Florida school shooting should reveal is instead of prescribing bigger pills, fathers should get bigger belts.
Honestly, I'm sorry, y'all. And there was 2 school shootings, not one. There was one in Florida, and then they had the one up there. I think that was in D.C., where the kid got rejected for getting a girl. He showed up to school too.
Yeah.
It's like every time these dudes do play Call of Duty, they always get a pass for little Timmy had a bad day. And
yes, little Timmy's not acting normal.
He's not acting normal.
Based on what the media tells us the way Timmy is supposed to act. Because Timmy is not a gangbanger. Timmy's not Islamic. Timmy is not Hispanic and is not an illegal immigrant. Therefore, Timmy is acting abnormal. So there must be a medical reason for this. We need to understand what's going on with little Timmy.
But you know what's crazy? Hang on. Let me see. I'm gonna show you. But I want y'all to think it's this rich kid becomes Crip in California.
Yes.
Oh, I was gonna do that. Rich kid becomes Crip in California.
He was mentally ill for wanting to become a Crip.
Kills.
There was a mental instability for this normal white kid to want to become a gangbanger, to use his father's car to commit murder.
This kid got off for murder. Mind you, the other 2 Black boys that rode with him did it. He got off for mental health. He's on probation. He is a gangbanger for the Crips. He rode around with daddy's car. He had money. I know it's not about color. It's about money and, the social wealth. If you have money, you can get away with shit. No. Call it like it is, man. He took a life. I could have sworn if one person in the car leans out the car and shoots at somebody and kills them, everybody in that car is guilty.
Right. And we can't sit up here and have equal justice except if you are a rich white kid. You are an exception to the rule because you are not acting normal. Rich white kids are not supposed to do this. If it had been Snoop Dogg's son who took Snoop Dogg's car, he would have been under the jail.
A wealthy white California teenager who joined the infamous Crips street gang was recently acquitted of a first, not second, first-degree murder charge in connection with him being the getaway driver in a fatal drive-by shooting. So when you say getaway, that means he didn't pick them up. He was riding with them.
Yes.
Cameron Terrell, 18, so he's an adult when he did this, drove two of his fellow Roland 90s neighborhood Crips gang members into a rival territory on October 1st, 2017. In Los Angeles, according to witnesses' testimony, the two teenagers, both minors, shot and killed 21-year-old Justin Holmes. So he took two minors.
Yes.
I want y'all to understand that. He took two minors, two kids, to go get their wings or get their clips. Him as the adult with money. He didn't take them to go get no job with daddy. He didn't take them to go get them out of the hood. He wanted to go play gangbanger. Who told the teen he was not gang affiliated. So the guy they killed, he wasn't even gang affiliated. Terrell was arrested days after the shooting when surveillance video showed the two teen shooters getting into a black Mercedes owned by Terrell's father. Media executive Donald Wayne Terrell was released from $500,000 on his $5 million. This boy got money. During his trial, prosecutors tried to convince a jury that Terrell provided transportation to what he knew would be a shooting. They also tacked on 2 counts of attempted murder for the 2 men who had been standing next to the victim, Justin Holmes, but managed to get away unscathed, according to CB2. Pretty much, and I mean, y'all can keep on reading on. They tried to kill 3, killed 1, and like I said, he walked away. He had money. He wasn't broke. He wasn't hurt. Y'all can say that, oh, Joe, you're making this seem like a white-on. No, I want y'all to understand murder is murder, right is right, wrong is wrong. And y'all keep on believing this fuckery that, hey, y'all sometimes y'all got to look at this shit for what it is, man. And the defense attorney literally tried to prove that, yo, this piece of shit is going to get to walk. You think he's going to be out of the Crip gang lifestyle? Hell no. That boy probably right back to doing what he's doing. He's going to go on living his life. But not that 21-year-old young man. He's not going to live his life. He's not. I want you to understand that. Like, I'm just saying, we can keep on pulling up these mass shooters and game bangers, just like that officer said how he had to go he named off picking up a watch or a wallet or a gun or anything, but it has to be a black person. These are the stereotypes that are placed on black people. And we don't start calling them out and start, yo, I think, Officer Dan, I think you need to get off the force. Because if your judgment is that skewed, because mind you, that black guy that beat up that black man in Baltimore, he got kicked off the force the next day. I really believe that when we start hearing officers do shit like this, just kick their ass right off. Don't even try to figure them out. Sometimes we got to call it for what it is, people. But that's all we have for today. We got another show coming up later on today. We're going to be going over talking about the situation when it comes to protest in Tulsa, Oklahoma, over the Asian shop owner who's been doing kung fu on black women. That's later on today. Michelle, you got anything you want to say before we ring out?
No, I'm just sitting up here looking at my Facebook feed, and even though we provided FBI stats, this is the question. It's highly, because he asked me, why did blacks commit so many murders? And I said, maybe it's because blacks are better shots. And he said, it's highly doubtful that blacks are better shots. What about assault, rapes, the number in prison? This is what I'm saying. This is what is being put into the media, this bias, day in, day out. Blacks are bad. Blacks are bad. This whole BS about us making up 13% of the population. That's a given. We're 13% of the population, but we are not the most dangerous in society to others outside of our demographic. Unfortunately, most of the murders, the assaults, the rapes are black on black crime. So why does black on black crime cause such fear in non-blacks? We are not pouring out of our communities and bringing black on black crime to other communities. Those communities have their own crime. I'm sorry, it's not the black men that are flying, what was it, a helicopter, or was it a small engine plane into the house to kill the wife over a custody dispute with their child? That was not a black man. So if you're going to quote stats to make people afraid of black people, quote the accurate stats. If you are black and you are trying to get sympathy, quote the accurate numbers. Please stop saying that black people are more likely to get killed by police. No, we're more likely to get killed by each other. That's a sad reality that we have to address. We're more likely to be killed by another black person. The police are more likely to shoot and kill they kill more white people than us. But at the end of the day, that bias is making us afraid of the police, is making the police afraid of us. And at the end of the day, it's all the media and two old billionaires sitting around laughing their butts off in their yachts, hoping they don't run into each other again and have to have a fist fight down in Sydney, Australia. Yes, you can look it up. Murdoch and Turner got into a fist fight because their yachts bumped into each other while they were off the coast of Australia.
That's what they have nothing better to do than beat on each other's ass and pretty much just, hopefully that's, and honestly, you guys, like I said, we don't have to go by this narrative. We can actually walk away from it. Yes. We don't have to go by this narrative that people are telling us that we're doing. We can walk away from it. We can be such better people. Don't let the things that, like I said, we just give y'all the facts. That's what me and Michelle are going to be doing on this channel.
The whole idea is there's no need for white guilt or white fear. That at the end of the day, if you look at the numbers and you see what's really going on, we're being pitted against each other for what nefarious reason? So that the wealthiest 3% or 5% can control 95% of every dollar, while we are fighting against each other and afraid that black people are going to steal your money. That's not going to happen. Statistically speaking, more of your money will be taken through white collar crime than it would ever be taken due to robbery, larceny, or auto theft. That's especially if you're thinking black people are leading the numbers in that. We're not.
Yeah, we already showed you that. Y'all can go back a few minutes. Y'all can go back and go watch that for yourself.
Yeah, because if they look at our stats real quick, they'll see that blacks make commit a lot of robberies, but your greatest wealth is not on your person. But if you look at embezzlement, you look at larceny, you look at car thefts. It's not called carjacking unless African American does it. So it was called car thefts.
Sounds more distinguished and defined.
Yes.
So, like I said, there's the
anyway,
term
it's been great. I hope we freed your mind a little bit so you're free to walk away from those misconceptions.
Yep. Make sure y'all look at it one last time. And we can go down it one time. We're just showing y'all really quick before we get off. Only we don't lead in a lot. We lead in like murder is the worst thing that we got. Everything else, they just
right. And unless you're another black male or a black female, you really don't have a lot to fear.
Yeah.
Even if you are a police officer, the number of black people that have killed police officers is really, really, really small.
Yeah, I wish they would keep saying that we're killing cops because we're really not. White people shoot at more cops than we do.
Yep. And I'm still not convinced the black guy in Dallas who had on body armor, who was in a 6-hour shootout in body armor and could not even shoot a police officer in the foot is the same guy who killed police officers with such precision over a 2-minute period of time. I'm just saying. Dallas has his secrets. I'm still not convinced on JFK either and the magic bullet. So forgive me if I'm a little skeptical of murders going on in Dallas.
All right, guys.
Don't think it's that far-fetched.
All right, guys. Well,
okay.
I'll take the link and I'll put it in below. But you guys, y'all take care and y'all have a good day. We'll be on later on. See you.